In today's video, I want to talk about what happens when both partners in a relationship are autistic. Not autistic and neurotypical. Not one compensates for the other, but two people who both struggle with emotional awareness, emotional language, and emotional regulation, often at the same time. Some of you on my channel have asked about this directly. Others are here because you're exploring trauma, attachment, and emotional shutdown. So today we're going to talk about the AU relationships. That's relationships where both partners have autistic traits and why they can feel deeply bonded on the surface yet emotionally disconnected underneath. Now, this isn't about blame, and it's not about saying these relationships can't work. In fact, AU couples often share deep intellectual compatibility, strong routines and loyalty, a sense of finally being understood, and relief from masking as much. But there's a specific emotional pattern that shows up again and again, especially when alexithymia is present on both sides. Alexithymia doesn't mean no emotions. It means difficulty identifying, accessing, and expressing emotions internally and outwardly. Now, imagine that on both sides. Now, let's talk about double alexithymia. In many AU relationships, both partners feel emotions intensely in the body, struggle to name what they're feeling, default to logic or withdrawal during stress, and experience emotional flooding without words. This creates what I call double alexithymia, which is the same thing as double emotions blindness. So when conflict happens, neither partner can clearly say, I'm hurt, I'm scared, I need reassurance, I'm overwhelmed. Instead, what you often see is silence, rigidity, and shutdown. Not because they don't care, but because neither nervous system knows how to move toward connection. Now, let's talk about the double shutdown during conflict. Now, here's a key dynamic that many AU couples recognize immediately. Both partners shut down at the same time. One partner feels overwhelmed, shuts down. The other partner senses disconnection and also shuts down. No one pursues, no one repairs, and no one reassures. The relationship becomes emotionally paused. And over time, the pause starts to feel like distance or loneliness, even though both people are still physically present and committed. Now, this is very different from trauma-based push-pull dynamics. It's more like parallel withdrawal. So let's talk about parallel play versus emotional connection. Many AU couples do incredibly well with parallel play. Parallel play looks like being in the same room, doing separate things, sharing space without pressure, feeling calm side by side, low emotional demand. And this is genuinely regulating. But here's the distinction that matters. Parallel play is not the same as emotional connection. Emotional connection requires emotional signaling, recognition of inner states, repair after rupture, and mutual emotional visibility. Now, in AU relationships, couples may mistake comfort for connection and later feel confused when loneliness shows up. They say, well, we're together at the same time, so why do I feel so alone? Now let's talk about where trauma enters the picture. This is where the trauma-sensitive viewers often lean forward. If either partner has a history of emotional neglect, invalidation, or relational trauma, the emotional silence of double alexithymia can become especially painful. Why? Because trauma doesn't need conflict to activate. It activates in absence. Absence of emotional feedback, absence of repair, absence of reassurance, absence of being emotionally known. So even in a calm, orderly, low conflict AU relationship, trauma responses can still emerge quietly. Now let's talk about what actually helps. What helps is not forcing emotional expression. What helps is translation and structure. Here's some examples. Using emotion charts instead of how do you feel. Naming physical sensations before emotions. Scheduling emotional check-ins instead of relying on spontaneity. And treating emotional repair as a process, not a feeling. Connection doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency and clarity. Now, AU relationships aren't broken, but they do require a different understanding of emotional language, nervous system regulation, and connection versus proximity. Now, if this video resonates, you're not alone and you're not imagining things. This is a real relationship dynamic that deserves nuance, compassion, and psychological depth. I have worked with neurodiverse couples for years where one was NT and the other one was ASD, and it seems like the more I do this, the more I'm finding that both partners are on the spectrum somewhere. Now, if you'd like, I can make another video that will explore how AU couples repair after shutdown, how trauma history changes these dynamics, or how to build emotional connection without forcing neurotypical norms. Let me know in the comments if you want something like that, and take care of yourself as you reflect. Now, please like, subscribe. There's going to be a free PDF in the description area and also pinned in the comment section that will help neurodiverse couples navigate conflict and communication breakdown. I'll see you in the next video. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.